Okay, so the Druid. I actually conceptually was a fan of some of the early changes that they were suggesting to Druid with like the Wildshape and like how Wildshape was kind of like was going to be kind of generalized in a way to where like, you know, everyone's like land Wildshape would have like the same stats that leveled with you, but then you got to choose kind of what it looked like and stuff like that. I know they didn't end up going through with that. It wasn't super great as is because it took a lot of the uniqueness out of it, but I thought they could have kept that and found ways to add the things that made it unique into it, because I feel like as it is now, unless you are, what is it, I think, Circle of the Moon, wild shaping, especially at higher levels, doesn't always feel that great. But anyway, let's get into it. Spell stuff. I don't think a whole lot of stuff has necessarily changed there. You always have Speak with Animals prepared. That's cool. That makes sense. You can use Druidic to leave hidden messages. Anyone who knows Druidic automatically spots a message. Very cool. Primal Order. You have dedicated yourself to one of the following sacred roles of your choice. Oh, interesting. This is new, right? Magician. You know one cantrip from the Druid spell list. Your mystical connection to nature gives you a bonus to your intelligence checks. The bonus equals your wisdom modifier. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. First of all, like, the amount of times that, like, a druid who clearly knows magic knows nothing about nature or arcana because they don't have intelligence, that's nice. Trained for battle, you gain proficiency with the martial weapons and training with medium armor. Nice. Okay, cool. That's great. The whole, oh, druids don't usually use metal thing was kind of weird and lame. I hope that the primal orders get expanded, because I also feel like having to choose between this, like, just let him use martial weapons and medium armor and just let druids do this. Like, I don't know that this needs to be a choice. You know what I mean? But I hope that they expand upon it more, because if it's literally just these two, that could have just been a new thing that you gave druids. Wildshape. Use it twice. Get it back on a short... Or you get back one on a short rest. Additional uses. Okay, so... Have they changed... Wait. Known forms... So when you reach certain druid levels, your number of known forms and maximum CR for those forms increases. That's stupid. Why can you only have a certain number of known forms? And you still have the maximum CR thing in place. Like, yeah, the fact that the maximum CR that a druid can turn into is a 1? That's so dumb. You're telling me a 20th level druid, maximum challenge rating, 1. Dumb. I think that's silly. I think that's just super silly. Will inform you retain your personality memories. Oh, you can speak still. Yay. When you assume a wild form, you get a number of temporary hit points equal to your druid level. See, now that feels more like a change that was probably needed, right? Being able to turn into something and then you have that big amount of, like, hit points. That feels that you have to, like, chew through and then, oh, I'm back to Druid and I have all my hit points. Okay. This feels like a thing worth doing. But I just feel like when you're capped at a max CR of 1, why are you wild shaping in battle? That's the biggest problem to me, is that as you level up, there is no CR1 beast that is going to be better than just being a druid, right? It's basically only being used for utility purposes. Game statistics are replaced by the beast's stat block. You retain your creature type, your hit points, your hit dice, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, class, features, language, feats. Ooh, you retain your feats. You also retain your skill and saving throw proficiencies. Use your proficiency bonus in addition to gaining the proficiencies of the creature. If a skill or saving throw modifier in the beast stat block is higher than yours, use the one in the stat block. You cannot cast spells, but shape-shifting doesn't break your concentration or otherwise interfere with spells that you've already cast. There's just no reason to wild shape. The only reason there was to wild shape before was for the hit point pool that you had. Change the number of prepared spells to a table instead of... Okay, see, that's what I thought. Because I was looking like on the rogue, and I didn't see that thing. But I thought that I wasn't crazy and that prepared spells were equal to one of your stats. I think I like the table thing better. Your ability to handle objects is determined by the form's limbs rather than your own. Sure. Wild Companion. You can summon a nature spirit that assumes an animal form to aid you. As a magic action, you can expend a spell slot. Yeah, I would much rather have a familiar than use Wild Shape. Unless, you know, you're turning into a bird or a bug or something. Like, that's the thing. Wild Shape is great for, like, exploration, roleplay, challenges, things like that. I don't think I would ever use it anymore in combat. Wild Resurgence. On each of your turns, if you have no uses of Wild Shape left, you can give yourself one by expending a spell slot. That's also nice. Again, I like this idea of using the resources that you have to be able to do more of the limited stuff. It always felt bad using your Wild Shape for, like, niche little, like, roleplay things, and then when it gets around to, like, boy, I really wish I had a Wild Shape. Yeah, but you don't. Or, like, you know, needing to Wild Shape, you'd be like, man, if I could Wild Shape for just 30 seconds to do this thing for us, would be great. But why use it now for 30 seconds? I might need it later for longer. Or if you, like, Wild Shape to do something like that, you're like, well, I'm just going to stay in my Wild Shape form. So it doesn't feel like I wasted it. Elemental Fury. Gain one of the following options of your choices. Add your Wisdom modifier damage when you deal Druid cantrips. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with an attack roll using a weapon or a beast form's attack and Wild Shape, you can cause the target to take an extra 1d8 cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage. Okay. Again, I feel like you like these are two different things that you're going to do, right? So it's not like these things are going to stack. And when you give people the option of, like, one of these two minor choices, it feels weird and clunky. Elemental Fury could have just been one thing. Like, both of these. You can just give them both of these things. Improved. The option you chose for Elemental Fury grows more powerful as detailed below. When you cast a Druid cantrip with a range of 10 feet or greater, the spell's range increases by 300. The extra damage of your Primal Strike increases to 2d8. Wait, what? Oh, these are just in here twice. That's weird. Beast spells. While using Wild Shape, you can cast spells in beast form, except for any spell that has material component. Okay, there. That now makes being in beast form viable, right? You can turn into a bird and fly away and cast spells from far away. Cool. Gain your epic boon. The vitality of nature constantly blooms, granting you the following benefits. Evergreen wild shape. When you roll initiative and have no uses of wild shape left, you regain 1 expended use of it. Nature magician. Like, that's okay, but the fact that you can also just spend a level 1 spell slot to gain it back if you need to. Nature magician. You can convert uses of wild shape into a spell slot. Did it not say you could do that earlier? In addition, you can expend 1 use of wild shape to give yourself a level 1 spell slot, but you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. So it just lets you do it more often. Okay. Choose a number of your unexpended uses of wild shape and convert them into a single spell slot, with each use contributing 2 spell levels. Okay, that's cool. And then longevity. Your primal magic that you wield causes you to age more slowly. For every 10 years that pass, your body ages only 1 year. Fine, I guess. Druid subclasses. We have land, moon, sea, and stars. I wonder if stars is still as strong as it was. Could you change your land type with the old druid? Because being able to change it on a long rest seems nice. I like that change, if it is a change. Circle of the land. No, it does not look like it. So that's cool. I like that. Being able, it's kind of like this idea of like being able to draw specifically like from the land that you're in. Obviously, it's not restricted to the land you're in, but I think that would be a cool way to play it. As a magic action, you can expend use of your wild shape and choose a point within 60 feet of yourself. Vitality-giving flowers and life-draining thorns appear for a moment in a 10-foot radius sphere centered on that point. Each creature of your choice in the sphere must make a Constitution saving throw against your spell save DC, taking 2d6 necrotic damage on failed save or half as much on a successful save. And one creature of your choice in that area regains 2d6 hit points. Damage and healing increases by 1d6 when you reach Druid level 10 and 14. Okay, and that's just a thing that happens one time, and then that's it. Yeah, basically the idea is that you get to damage your enemies and heal one friend. I wonder if it gets better, because I feel like 10-foot radius sphere centered on that point. And then it doesn't play on that anymore. That's disappointing. I think what would have been cool, especially because they have to make a saving throw for it, I would have had this last for a duration, allow you to move it around a little each turn, similar to what the Blighted Druid does. And I think I would also allow you, allow you to do it basically each turn, because obviously things would try to move out of it, right? Yeah, each creature of your choice, one creature of your choice. But yeah, I would allow this to like kind of go on and like last for a minute, and you can like move it around a little bit. And I probably also, at least as you got higher level, like, you know, again, make these changes that happen as you level up. Allow you to heal more than just one. But that's a cool idea, and I wish they would have built on that more. Natural Recovery. You can cast one of the level 1 plus spells that you have prepared from your Circle Spells feature without expending a spell slot. You must finish a long rest where you do so again. In addition, when you finish a short rest, you can choose expended spell slots to recover. The spell slots can have a combined level that is equal to or less. It seems like a lot of caster classes have basically gotten their own version of arcane recovery. Which, when everybody has it... Oh, I guess everybody doesn't have it. The land has it. But to have just that be a subclass feature when multiple people has it feels a little lame. You're immune to the poison condition. You have resistance to a damage type associated with your current land choice in the circle spells as shown in the Nature's Ward table. See, that's a very boring, passive-only subclass feature. So, Nature's Ward, that would have been... That's the third one. So, you get that at what level? Subclass feature. You get that at level 10. So, I would have had... Nature's Ward improve Land's Aid. Like maybe now Land's Aid lasts for 1 minute. You can use a bonus action to move to cause the vines and the thorns and the flowers to sort of move through the land, up to like 20 feet, and you can affect up to 8 creatures total, and you can choose whether they take the damage or they regain the hit points. And Nature's Sanctuary. As a magic action, you can expend use of your wild shape and cause spectral trees and vines to appear in a 15-foot cube on the ground within 120 feet of yourself. They last there for 1 minute or until you have incapacitated condition or die. You and your allies have half cover while in that area, and your allies gain the current resistance of your Nature's Ward while there. As a bonus action, you can move the cube up to 60 feet on the ground within... See, what... Why give them a whole separate thing, right? Up here, use a magic action. Cause flowers and life-draining thorns to appear for a moment. 6 seconds. Do this thing. And then later, as a magic action, use your wild shape to cause spectral trees and vine. Land's Aid should have been the spectral trees and vines that do this thing. And now, when you get to your capstone... you have the ability to move it around and do more things with it. Circle of the Moon. Channel lunar magic when you assume wild shape form, granting you the benefits below. Maximum challenge rating equals your druid level divided by 3. Rounded down. So what is that? CR6? It's a lot higher than the other one. CR6 still feels a little lame. I feel like I would have to take a look at what all like the CR sort of 6s are, but... Armor class. Until you leave the form, the AC equals 13 plus your wisdom modifier, if that total is higher than the beast's AC. So probably you're looking at 18 AC in beast form. Pretty cool. Gain number of temporary hit points equal to 3 times your druid level. Nice. Each time your attacks in wild shape form can deal its normal damage type or radiant damage. You make this choice each time you hit with those attacks. That's pretty cool. Increased toughness. You can add your wisdom modifier to your con saves. That's great for concentration checks. Although you have to be in your wild shape form. You magically transport yourself, reappearing amid a burst of moonlight. This is Moonlight Step. As a bonus action, you can teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. You have advantage on the next attack roll you make for the end of this next turn. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier and regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. You can also regain uses by expending a level 2 spell slot for each use you want to restore. No action required. And then the capstone. Once per turn, you can deal an extra 2d10 radiant damage to a target you hit with a wild shape form attack. And whenever you use Moonlight Step, you can also teleport one willing creature. That creature must be within 10 feet of you. And you teleport to an unoccupied space you can see within 10 feet of your destination space. This Circle of the Moon's super cool. I wasn't extremely familiar with Druid prior, or at least Circle of the Moon Druid prior to this. So I'm curious. I want to go take a quick check here. Circle of the Moon Legacy. Yeah. Nope, sure didn't. Yeah, the whole like teleporting thing is really, really cool. Again, I think for me, this is going to mostly kind of depend on how strong are, like, the CR6 beasts that you have access to. But being able to, like, teleport around all the time, you know, sacrifice a few spell slots to get back uses of it if you need to, you know, just as a bonus action, attacking things as a beast. That is a pretty cool sort of theme to be able to play around. So Circle of the Moon seems... I know it was one of the better Druid subclasses, and I feel like they only improved on it. Circle of the Sea. I think they removed an important thing. What was that, Dolvik? Wildshape attacks aren't magical for Moon Druid. If you choose to make your damage type radiant, they sure would be. That could also have something to do with some things they've changed, because, for example, I'm pretty sure that they got rid of the idea of having immunity to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, but not immunity to magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. I think they got rid of that distinction. So there's no more like there's no more immunity to attacks, but unless it's magical. Is radiant inherently... I mean, the only... And see, this is the exact reason I think why they did that, is there was no such thing as non-magical fire damage. There was no such thing as non-magical radiant or necrotic. You either had resistance and immunity to it, or you didn't. When you did those things, it was normally from a spell, right? So, technically, the old way, yeah, if you're using radiant, it's like there is no non-radiant resistance, right? So I'm pretty sure they just did away with the idea of overcoming magical resistances with your regular attacks. So that's probably why they got rid of the primal striking, is because it's not a thing anymore. You are either resistant to a damage type, immune to a damage type, or you're not. There's no more like, oh, I'm resistant to that unless it's magical. Circle of the Sea. Wrath of the Sea. As a bonus action, you can expend use of your wild shape to manifest a 5-foot emanation. All right, so emanation is a new area of effect term that basically denotes that a effect is coming from you, or it's emanating from a point that you choose. So, like, for example, Spirit Guardians. It takes the form of an ocean spray that surrounds you for 10 minutes. It ends early if you dismiss it. No action required. Manifest it again, or have the incapacitated condition. When you manifest the emanation, and as a bonus action on your subsequent turns, you can choose another creature you can see in the emanation. That target must succeed on a saving throw or take cold damage and be pushed away from you. Size of the emanation created by your Wrath of the Sea increases to 10 feet. Oh, right. 5 foot before, 10 feet now. Gain a swim speed. Stormborn. Your Wrath of the Sea confers 2 more benefits while active. You gain a fly speed. You have resistance to cold, lightning, and thunder damage. Oceanic Gift. Instead of manifesting the emanation of Wrath of the Sea around yourself, you can manifest it around one willing creature within 60 feet of yourself. That creature gains all the benefits of the emanation and uses your spell save, DC, and wisdom modifier for it. In addition, you can manifest the emanation around both the other creature and yourself if you expend 2 uses of your wild shape. That's cool. Yeah, this is fine. It's definitely an interesting mechanic that I like. I feel like I wish it did more. Because it's basically one thing you do. It's boom. Anybody comes near me, I can use my bonus action to try to push them away and deal damage to them, right? And then at one point it gets bigger. And then you gain resistances and fly, which if you're flying, I don't necessarily know if you need to worry about pushing people back. And then you can put it around someone else. So it does build upon it and make it stronger, but it doesn't necessarily change the way that it acts, which, again, isn't a bad thing, but it does build upon itself, so that's cool. All right, here we go. Circle of the Stars. So, while holding the map, Guidance and Guiding Bolt. Cool. Just how it always was. Starry Form is a bonus action. Expend use of your wild shape to take on a starry form. Form sheds bright light and dim light. Archer. When you activate this form and as a bonus action on your subsequent turns while it lasts, you can make a ranged spell attack, hurling a luminous arrow that targets one creature within 60 feet of you. On hit, the attack deals radiant damage equal to 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier. Chalice. Whenever you cast a spell using a spell slot that restores hit points to a creature, you or another creature within 30 feet of you... Oh, sorry. When you hit points to a creature, you or another creature within 30 feet of you can regain hit points equal to 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier. Dragon. When you make an intelligence or wisdom saving... an intelligence or wisdom check... or a Constitution saving throw to maintain concentration, you can treat a roll of 9 or lower as a 10. Cosmic Omen. Whenever a creature you see within 30 feet of you is about to make a d20 test, you can take a reaction to roll 1d6, take it away. Add to it, and then for woe, subtract from it. Okay. The constellations of your starry form improve. The 1d8 of the Archer and Chalice becomes 2d8, and while the Dragon is active, you have a fly speed of 20, and you can hover. More of the start of each of your turns, one starry form. You can change which constellation glimmers on your body. And full of stars, while in your starry form, you become incorporeal, giving you resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. It doesn't sound like too much of that was changed, does it? Circle of the Stars. Nope. Okay, cool. So Circle of the Stars is exactly the same.